Oh. Hello, and welcome
Whoa.
to episode
13.
3 of the Death Mountain Podcast.
Where we do the whole podcast with gummy bears in our mouth.
Preferably not, but I prefer to finish this. But,
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea.
oh man. So this week, if I can figure out how to get my life together, my life is falling apart, if I'm honest. I'm swallowing gummy bears whole at this point.
Just going for
I
it.
don't believe in chewing. My hair looks bad. Alright, perfect.
What is happening?
I literally didn't chew a single one of those very well. Anyways, they're all in my stomach. I'll worry about digesting that later. Alright, so,
This is terrible.
first things first. Welcome to episode number
13.
13
I do the math here.
of the
After the whole Joey and Trevor episode with the 6 months and the $8 and the 60 cents.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so speaking of math, we're going to have quite a bit of numbers in this episode.
We are.
Yeah, episode 1-3.
Yeah, this week for us was E3. So we're going to touch a little bit on some of what was brought to E3, but we're actually going to do probably a longer, probably like a feature-length video where we kind of cover all of E3 and just our thoughts on like individual presentations, games, go more in depth on some of the topics we're going to talk about here. So be expecting that episode from us probably sometime late next week or early the week after.
Yeah, within the next couple weeks here. But starting off with our favorite console here at Death Mountain Productions, the Xbox One. They've also really announced the Xbox One X.
Project Scorpio has been officially announced, and boy, it has a price tag.
Yeah, it's actually being released for $499.
Yeah.
Which is $100 more than the PlayStation 4 Pro retails at, which obviously doesn't have 4K like gaming by any means or anything like that. It does have the upscaling features and stuff like that.
That's
but
at
it's $100 more
Yeah.
starting MSRP price.
It's at least 20 original Xboxes. Just go buy one of those instead.
Well, I got my original Xbox with like 3 controllers for like $30.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to start the math, but that's probably pretty accurate.
Now, from my perspective at least, for as hyped up as Project Scorpio was, this is actually a fairly disappointing release.
Yeah, I'm not exactly as excited about this as I would have hoped. They're talking about a 1 terabyte hard drive, mechanical hard drive, $50-$60 all day long, no matter where you buy them.
It's not even the hybrid drive that they
No.
use in the Elite consoles.
Exactly.
Just not solid state. It's an actual disk drive.
And I believe it's solid. So yeah, they're using literally a full mechanical hard drive.
Yeah.
No, it's still obviously the laptop architecture, the 2.5-inch drives. But so I mean, you could swap it out for solid state, not ensuring that, like not guaranteeing any power performance boosts or anything like that. But
Yeah.
that's not as exciting as you would think it would be. You also get an Xbox wireless controller, HDMI cable, a power supply, and a 1 month of Xbox Game Pass subscription, and 14 days of Xbox Live Gold. That's what you get for $400 or $500. Sorry,
Yeah.
$400 is the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Now, I do believe it does have an impressive 31% increase in CPU speed. And it says it's a 4-fold increase over the Xbox One's graphics capability, which
Yeah, and 50%
Actually-
increase in RAM. That's also quite.
now 4K
impressive
isn't
in that
4K is commonly misconceived as 4 times 1080p, which isn't quite that.
No.
So having a 4-fold graphics increase does kind of account for it being a 4K console a little bit, but other than that, it's actually not that much of a performance increase over the Xbox One. It's just a different resolution scale.
Exactly, and they keep saying like a 50% increase in onboard RAM, 31% increase in CPU speed. But all the people that have already bought an Xbox One for $300-$400 when they were announced or at first, now you're paying $500 again to have not that much more powerful. They were saying this is supposed to not compete with PCs, but this is like nowhere near
What it was
the
hyped up to.
performance of what PCs can do.
Yeah.
PC, like as you saw last week, you were just like referring to the MacBook or the iMac Pro that was like $5,000. Even that thing has enough performance to equal this thing.
Yeah.
And that's a
Well-
Mac that doesn't even game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's $5,000. But the fact that they could get a max to game just as good as this Xbox is disappointing. I don't know. I'm not that hyped on it. I'm not sold on it yet. I mean, I'm curious to see how well they'll sell, but I still think to this day that there's people that are gonna come in and go to stores and be like, I want the One S. Like they're not gonna care that much about 4K because 4K obviously isn't that big. Like even in the PC realm, not many people play 4K games. Like I have a computer that could output 4K. I do not even play 1440.
Not even 1440p. It's
the majority of what people play on PC is still 1080p, like 60 FPS, 144.
Yeah, it goes back to two of the things I've been saying for a long time is that developers are focusing too much on two topics right now. They're focusing too much on high dynamic resolution games, or I'm sorry, not high dynamic resolution, but dynamic resolution games, so in 4K. And they're also focusing too much on VR. Now, don't get me wrong. I love 4K and I love VR, but those two are in such a minority in the gaming population right now. Like, don't...
You're not wrong.
Like I said, we'll touch on this later. Don't even get me started on Bethesda's presentation, where they're relaunching Skyrim VR and then Fallout 4 VR.
Fallout 4 VR, and that's pretty
much
much
from the fact that they brought nothing useful to the table.
That's probably, honestly, all that Sony pretty much... That's all. It literally is all that Sony really banked off of for the most part, besides like a couple, like, not remasters, but remasters, like Shadow of the Colossus, stuff like that. All they did was say, like, we're going to work together with Fallout 4 VR, because they have the PlayStation VR. Fallout 4 VR, Skyrim VR. Their games, Skyrim came out in 2011?
Yeah. And how many times have they relaunched and resold Skyrim?
Oh, jeez.
We've got Skyrim, we've got the
original PC version.
Yeah, we've got the remake edition with the updated graphics. We've got Skyrim for the Switch, which is going to come out later, probably at the end of this year or early next year. And now we've got Skyrim VR, so that's 4 different times.
4 different
Skyrim
versions. I mean, it's not any worse than Nintendo re-releasing like Super Mario Bros. 3 for like the 85th time on like the 95th console. But I don't know. This is just not that.
But same thing, like
exciting.
VR technology. It's great for games like Star Trek Bridge Commander. That is a perfect example of where our VR technology is at, and a game that implements it and uses it well. Skyrim. We're not there yet. I mean...
And people don't even have rigs really to run, like PC gaming rigs, to run VR.
Or 4K.
Or 4K
is still at an enthusiast level price point. It is not at a consumer price point. And most people who play games... I'd say majority of people who play games play on more of a consumer level than an enthusiast level.
Like upwards of like $1,000 PC build.
Yeah.
Which even with that would have... You're
starting to get a
4K game.
Yeah, you're starting to get baseline into VR and 4K with a build like that. But even, I mean,
and then people like that have that will have like a 1 or 2 or even like myself like 3 computer monitors. And if you think you're gonna push 4K from one computer to 3, probably 24-inch monitors, then you're gonna have a real rough time trying to get 4K onto that with one graphics card. You're gonna have to SLI 2 graphics cards. Which means literally $700 right there is a graphics card just in 4K.
At a minimum.
Yeah, if you just went like older 1070s. Like you're not gonna enjoy that. And so yeah, the VR is cool. I don't think it's where gaming is gonna go long term. Maybe long term down the road, but
like
it's not,
2 or
like
3 years.
Yeah,
I've seen some very, very interesting VR setups that are in development right now that involve.
The Vive is awesome.
Oh yeah. And then there's the one, I don't remember where I saw it. It was a YouTube video I checked out, but it's actually a warehouse that's set up for like almost kind of like laser tag. It's got like a maze type setup, and they actually have a game integrated into that room that's built. So you actually run around in the maze, and what you're seeing in the game is actually there in real life also. So
that's pretty cool.
That's kind of a cool. It's kind of an impractical implementation of it, but it's still kind of a cool idea.
Because when I used the Vive at the Microsoft store over in the University of Washington campus, Seattle area, there was a lot of like you stood in like this little area and you were able to use that, but it was just drawing in the air.
Yeah,
like, that way like wasn't too much like crazy wow moments. Like it was cool. Like I knew I was doing VR, but it wasn't like, wow, this is what I want every video game in my life to be like. Especially when I had to spend... I mean, I already had the computer that could do it.
Yeah.
It's already VR compatible. I could go play VR games right now if I wanted to. But I have no desire to want to sit down and only play VR. I still like kicking back on a couch, grabbing a controller, and playing the 3rd edition of Skyrim. Not the 4th one. The 3rd one was what? The Switch one?
No, the 3rd one would be... Well, the third one is going to probably be VR. I think VR will come out before
You're probably
Switch.
right. Yeah, no, I take that back. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty much well, all around a lackluster E3 from what most people are saying. There wasn't a ton going on. People love Nintendo. People love some bits and pieces of Microsoft, some bits and pieces of Sony's. But
Hopefully you all hated
Nintendo,
Bethesda like I did.
Bethesda's was a massive disappointment for us here at DMP because it's just not.
I have a love-hate relationship with Bethesda.
Yeah, like they release great things and then they release really bad things. Like
They
Fallout
release
New Vegas.
great games that are broken.
Fallout New Vegas.
And then they fix them, and then they give you a creation kit so you can fix them.
Yeah, you fix this yourself because we got tired of spending 8,000 years building a game for you.
Now, we do have some slightly unexpected news. Atari is making a new game console.
Called the Atari Box.
The Atari Box. So this sparked a very interesting Coliseum. Whoa. A very interesting conversation earlier today between me and my cousin because we got news of this at the same time. And we were like, okay, that's kind of cool. We watched, they've got like a 10 or 15 second teaser video where they just kind of do some very close-up panning shots of what it could be. It's got the nice retro wood paneling. And then I believe it also sports the traditional black look. So it's kind of
brushed aluminum looking style.
It looks kind of like a little bit of a throwback. And so that sparked a debate. Is Atari trying to pull a Nintendo and say, hey, we're bringing back the Atari. We're going to re-release all the old games, HDMI support, 1080p, maybe 4K, who knows. Or is Atari trying to jump back into the market, and compete with Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft? So there was a couple interesting points in either way. We had a brief discussion about it, but I want to hear a little more from you on what your thoughts are on it.
It seems odd to me. They've always had those like Atari flashbacks, things like that, like those like machines that just plug into like the RCA ports on your TV. You can play all the old Atari games, that sort of a thing. And those have always been a thing. I thought that was what Nintendo was trying to copy when they were starting to do those like NES Classic-esque type things. It's and so I don't know that they're going to be able to. Nintendo's been trying for a while. Like they said, they're not really trying, but to compete with the PlayStation, Xboxes out there. That's not going to be easy to just come out of nowhere when they've literally been... how long have they been out of the market? The Atari Jaguar was the last gaming console, and it debuted in 1993. And they just continued it the year I was born in 96.
Yeah.
That sucker has been out in 20 years. But,
now, it sparked an interesting
trying to come back.
Conversation between me and my cousin, because I said, well, Atari is a big enough name to where if they did release a console that had good specs... Oh, that's the other thing that I want to touch on real quick. It is PC based. Not like it needs a PC, but it...
Oh, because you're talking about the specs, yeah.
Yes, it is based on PC technology.
Which is odd.
So if they launched it...
to have a good...
Yeah.
Get games like their old stuff, you don't need a PC level thing.
So if they are trying to jump back into the full-fledged market and compete with them, that would kind of make sense. And I argued that Atari is a big enough name to where it would be viable for them. And my cousin goes, no, they're not. Atari's a big enough name, 30 years ago, but nowadays, I doubt anyone knows who they are. And my mom goes, well, I know who Atari is. And I looked at my cousin, I was like, I wonder if your brother, who's 13, I was like, let's find out if he knows what Atari is. And so, just on speakerphone in the room, we called him up. And we were like, hey, do you know what an Atari is? And he's like, a what? And we were like, an Atari. And he's like, no. And we were like, oh, well, that answers our question.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's not that big anymore. Like, it's cool. Like, it's kind of sort of like a retro. It's sort of like a nostalgic effect. Like, I didn't grow up in the time of like the NES, the SNES, like things like that. N64 was more like the big console at the time of me growing up. But I still know about the Atari just because it was like sort of like the retro gaming at that time. It's very retro now compared to what we're dealing with nowadays with like virtual console stuff like that. However, we're looking at something that could very well either be a new console. It could very well just be like a Nintendo Switch type thing. It could just be like trying to compete with like the lower end performing gaming, but very fun newer games, like sort of like what Atari was meant to be, like that household fun, family fun thing.
And we've seen that can work.
NES Classic thing again, which is HDMI.
It just goes back to the Minecraft theory, which I'm making up right now. It's not an actual thing.
What?
The Minecraft theory. Minecraft was a game that was released that had terrible graphics, which at the time that Minecraft was released, graphics were a pretty big thing.
It's true.
And so it had terrible quote-unquote graphics. Of course, it was just the art style of the game. But it was widely successful because of the type of game it was.
Correct.
So if Atari comes back and tries to jump into that market, which is similar, I think, to where Nintendo sits, but kind of still a different spot, where they just jump into the family game, I think it could be viable.
I think it could be like actually good for them to do that.
I'm going to put my money on new console. I'm not going.
I'm going to vote new console.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be in the competition sort. I don't even think they're trying to compete with anyone. I think they're going to be in their own little like world, but I think they're going to try to focus on like in-home, like family-based. Like,
yeah.
You get like the family together, you have an afternoon, you play some games, that sort of thing. Sort of like with like the Wii U was initially supposed to be like the Wii and that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna go towards like the realm of like the Nintendo Wii. Mm-hmm. It's in everybody's homes, everyone has one, that sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. But I guess we'll see what happens. Apparently, it's been in the making for years.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've kept this pretty under wraps until now, obviously, because now we've got the Atari box. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens with that, because that's.
Plot twist, it's going to be a full bodysuit VR setup, and I'm going to eat my words from the last segment we did.
Yeah, Atari is just going to be like the massive driving force in
of VR.
VR. I would
4K VR.
4K VR needs PC builds. Oh, jeez. Yeah, a little bit down a different rabbit trail, I would say now. Speaking of Apple from last week, our favorite company here at Death Mountain Productions. Your computer. Okay, put it to you this way. How many people like Netflix? Raise your hands. Okay, everyone likes Netflix. Netflix is pretty much a necessity nowadays anymore.
Honestly.
Everybody's favorite adapter company is going to be creating their own, potentially creating their own Netflix competitor. They've confirmed that they're very interested in taking it on.
And it looks like their main target for it is going to be the Netflix original shows.
Yeah, like sort of like how like we would have shows like the Crown. What was the other one that was really big?
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, those shows that are really popular and there's Netflix originals. If Apple can get behind that, which they've got the money to do. They've got the money to do literally whatever they want, for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be a bad idea for them to do. I think it actually could be pretty smart, especially since Netflix has been like leading this. They've monopolized like movies in the home for quite a while, like HBO Go, Hulu tries, Amazon Prime is viable and stuff like that, but Netflix is the household name for movie streaming. So I don't know if Apple could do it, and if they could like integrate it with like that community that they built between all their products. Like we're still literally using a MacBook from like 7 centuries ago here,
2006,
and it's still exactly 7 centuries ago, and it still works
somehow.
And so if they could find a way to literally work this streaming program into their phones, watch. That'd be awesome.
That would be terrible.
I don't know. I think it'd be a good thing for Amazon.
I'm calling Apple.
Amazon. Apple.
I'm calling two things right now.
They're gonna compete with Amazon.
One of them's the thing we talked about earlier, where you're probably gonna have to have an Apple Music subscription or similar. They'll probably package it all together.
Yeah, potentially.
And then the second thing I'm calling is it's going to be Apple exclusive.
Which is going to be interesting.
I'm going to put my money on that. I think you're going to need a MacBook, an iPhone, Apple TV.
Apple TV, I think, is going to be the one way that you can get it to your...
Because Apple TV, it's good and it's successful, but it's not widely successful.
And there's not like the one feature that like I need to have an Apple TV. Like it's just sort of like not a necessity. It's like a luxury at this point.
I mean, I had an Apple TV and I got rid of it for a Chromecast.
And a Chromecast is a $30 on sale thing. You literally just use your phone for. Like it's not like anything real special. It's cool, but I truly think that if they could get the Apple TV to actually have like some thing behind it that's driving that force into the sales market, I think it could be big for that.
And movies and TV series might be the way to do that.
4K.
4K.
Since that's what everyone cares about anymore. But I don't know. I think if they could compete with like all those bigger shows, like even just getting popular shows on there, things like Breaking Bad, stuff like that, are just like very popular. If they could find a way to get those to Or any of those, even. I wonder if they could even get the Netflix originals over. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, I doubt it. If they're going to be competing.
It'd be kind of funny, though. We're going to pay for that. The only thing I don't know if I like is if they'll put it on just Mac, how many people are going to not sign up because it's on
I don't know that it'll be a Mac exclusive, but I'm
If they
pretty
did.
certain it would at least be an iTunes exclusive. So if you have iTunes on your Windows computer, I'm sure you'd be able to...
Because Apple Music you can use on like other devices.
Yes.
It's not exclusive. The same with like Google Play Music, YouTube Red. You can use that on your iPhone. I think it'll be like that.
Yeah.
If they do it that way.
But it will be proprietary through their own platform, probably not a web-based like Netflix.
Correct. Yeah, they've already proven this, like Amazon. Things like this is actually Amazon. Amazon bought Whole Foods. Like
Which
this
is
is
real
just a big
interesting.
thing. Amazon bought Whole Foods, which is obviously a food market, which is weird for Amazon.
Basically, it's a grocery store.
Like a natural grocers, that sort of a thing. And literally within the course of a day, the stock went up 9.62 points, 29.1%. There's a 29.1% increase on their previous market value. So if you had $1,000 invested into Whole Foods market,
You have $1,300.
you would have $1,291 you would own. That's fantastic. So that's Amazon, online retailing giant, buying a natural grocery store essentially.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just a supermarket. So something like Amazon, or not Amazon, Apple, who could buy pretty much anything they want. They could probably buy Netflix if they wanted to.
It's true.
To basically say that they're going to compete with them. Look how much these big giants can compete in the market. They make Whole Foods go up 30% in one day.
Yeah.
I think Amazon could potentially do the same thing in terms of tanking companies like Netflix.
Apple. You said Amazon again.
Dang it! Apple could make companies like Netflix tank if Apple gets.
We don't do this live.
Clearly. Yeah, I truly think that if Apple gets popular with this, if they actually do take on Netflix, and they take them onto a point where people are actually starting to sign up and subscribe, I think that, as we saw with Amazon buying Whole Foods, I truly think that Apple could have that detrimental value that Amazon brought good to Whole Foods to Netflix, and we could see Netflix potentially needing to actually fight to maintain their supremacy on the movie streaming market.
My opinion, I think Apple's going to become a competitor with... why do I always forget my
Amazon.
words
Just kidding.
when I host the podcast? yeah, Amazon.
In terms on Amazon.
Prime.
I said that.
Prime Video.
Yes, Prime.
And then HBO, Hulu, and I'm missing one. You know what I'm talking about.
HBO Go?
That kind of that market level. I don't know that they're going to touch Netflix, but I think they will become a big competitor in the lower tier market in terms of that. I mean, let's be honest. Amazon Prime Video is probably only relevant because of the Grand Tour. If there's an Amazon Prime Video show that I absolutely need to check out, let me know. But as far as I know, Grand Tour is the only reason that's even worth it.
Yeah, and most people already have Amazon Prime, so it's like, we'll throw you a free movie service because we're going to make it seem like Amazon Prime is a better deal than it really is. Which actually is a pretty good deal because they pay for it.
And on one more brief note about the Whole Foods purchase, my call on that is Amazon is going to use Whole Foods to expand Amazon Pantry and deliver groceries to your house. Because that's already a thing in Seattle and a couple other big markets, I believe. And so I think by them buying Whole Foods, not only are they planning on expanding Whole Foods, we'll probably get one here in Spokane, but I believe they're going to use Whole Foods as a center to expand Amazon.
I think so too. Like the Amazon
That's the most
Seattle,
clear move I can see for them.
They have physical bookstores now. They have physical stores. They can get physical grocery stores. Like they can start implementing all the different facets of people's everyday lives into cities around them, and I think they could slowly, piece by piece, pick apart all their competitors for the most part. Like honestly, like take just big retailers, Best Buy, Radio Shack, like places that would compete with Amazon.
Rip Radio Shack.
Rip Radio Shack. I truly think, like to this day, even like there's a possibility that Amazon has so much money, like they don't even hardly even really compete with companies like Best Buy. They're competing quite well against that, like they're successful, that sort of a thing. But what we're seeing here is that like Best Buy is more of like what people view as like a window shopping outlet for Amazon.
Yeah.
And so Amazon could like be utilizing that to push their sales. Like, well, you can go view it here, and buy it there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one interesting thing. Like Whole Foods, there's nothing really to compete with. Like
Yeah.
they can just cut the cost and throw it into a city, and all those local grocery stores that people own, that sort of a thing. Like I don't see like big stores like Best Buy and stuff like that Walmart having any issues with something like this. Because this is a grocery store.
The grocery business in the next 2 to 3 years is going to look drastically different.
I agree, 100%.
I don't think it's going to put people.
Safeway that does the home delivery right now. I want to say it's Rosar's.
Is it?
Yeah, you can order like a full thing. Oh, just deliver groceries to your home.
I didn't know that.
But if they could do this cheap,
Yeah. Well, and drone delivery is cool, but I don't think it's going to be viable for a long time.
and they've already tried to do that with packages in some places.
I don't think drone delivery is going to be viable for a long time.
Getting shot down.
Yeah. So the next best thing for Amazon is going to be like that.
Taking over cities.
Amazon almost had a deal with Radio Shack to pick up Radio Shack stores as outlet stores where they could
Sell their stuff. Yeah,
sell
no.
their stuff and send products out.
It's genius. It's literally a giant company that literally has so many like Google. We don't even know all the things Google does.
Yeah.
Well, now Amazon's starting to get to that point of who knows what the heck Amazon's doing. They're buying grocery stores now, so beware. Start building robots and.
Alright, so I am all out of NOS, which means it's time for us to end the video. Actually, no, there's still a little bit.
I'm not even out of Mountain Dew SA yet.
Now we're out of NOS.
All right, so we're out of NOS, so we can't no longer
over.
Can't no longer have video. Clearly from your part.
Oh no, I'm wearing glasses. I wasn't wearing glasses in the podcast.
Nice. Clearly we don't do this live. So yeah. Anyways,
And we're not sponsored by Winco.
still to this very day, and these gummy bears came from them. We have done everything in our power to get them as a sponsor.
We've literally done nothing in our power.
Minus contacting them and doing anything that it takes to get somebody as a sponsor. We've done everything else, like eat their food.
Yeah.
Yeah, but based on that, if you liked our videos,
Like them. Share
if
'em.
you didn't like our videos,
That sucks. Like it anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Why wouldn't you like our videos?
That's exactly
It's
it.
two idiots bambling, babbling for a half hour. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean most things.
And then, of course, subscribe to our channel.
Uh-huh.
We release videos at least every week, if not sometimes more. We do have our E3 footage. Man, I'm bad at this.
Our 3 coverage video,
Coming up.
as well as the Surface event and the Apple event videos. We've got
Yes.
3 big videos coming up to you on the Death Mountain Productions YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll obviously link to Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And we can never figure out how to get social media affairs in order.
Please. We need our social media accounts.
Yeah, everybody harass us on our channel until we get our social media thing together because we need to get on that, especially on that website. And I promised you guys an episode like 2 that I still have not messed with, and I've paid for like a half a year of services for. And
Yep.
there's a title on it.
There is.
There's a nice title and maybe a sidebar. I can't remember.
I think it has a top bar.
Did we talk about the pizza?
No.
All right, sweet.
Pizza.
Anyways, we're gonna make a video, and we're gonna see who can eat the most pizza. Per Ricardo saying that we can't eat very much pizza, like we gotta do something cool because the toast video apparently sucked according to him. So what we're gonna do is we're challenging you, Ricardo, to come on to our studio and
Into my home. It's actually his
it's actually
home.
ours. For now, we don't even know. We might be in the new location
That's
by the
true.
time we do this
I
video.
don't think we've
Ricardo.
talked about the new location
Oh,
on
well,
camera yet.
anyways, we're gonna have a new location.
We'll come back to that.
Pretend like I didn't say anything. If I already talked about it on a previous episode, that's great. But if not, we're moving on. Anyways, Ricardo, you will come into our domain per our request. I mean, if you don't show, then clearly we win.
Yeah.
And see if you truly can out-eat me, Cody, and Danny at a pizza eating contest.
I mean, really, it doesn't matter if he shows up or not. 'Cause
We're
he's
still
not going to win.
We're still gonna win. Yeah, like there's absolutely nothing Ricardo's gonna do to win that. And I mean, he's technically our best supporter. Like, I mean, he's so supportive in all of his messages to the group. And,
He watches all of our videos.
I mean, he hates you being on here, but he loves Trevor. So that's one supportive thing, I guess.
I hate me being on here too.
I hate that thing being on here.
I'm sure you do.
And I hate the route of Nos. But or you're out of Nos. I know. But yeah, so you know what? You can take that challenge. You can leave it, Ricardo. Either way, you're gonna lose. But if you want to come into our home, my home, Danny's home, I don't know. If you want to come into our domain
my house.
and see if you can take us on in a pizza eating contest, let's do it. We'll upload that straight to the Death Mountain Productions competitions.
We'll just randomly drop it.
Yep. So, bring it on, Ricardo. Let's see what you've got. As well as we're going to have a hard-boiled egg eating contest. And Danny, our audio tech dude here, has claimed that he will never lose one of these competitions. No matter what.
I'm going to win the pizza contest, so.
We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But that man has said that he will not lose. And after that salsa video,
man,
it's almost believable. Almost, yeah. That was rough.
So we are planning on getting a new location. We've actually been talking about it for about a month.
Let's talk about it now.
Because this is done in his apartment, just in the middle of the room, which is part of why our audio is a little weird.
You probably hear my fish tank right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't put water in that. Oh well. Again, we don't do this live.
We don't.
Nothing I can do to correct that.
We don't do this live. So we've done a lot of basic audio treatment, as well as moving mics around, putting a lot of things to reflect.
There's a microphone right there.
Cancel the reflecting of sound, but it's still not perfect.
Everywhere.
So our new location will give us a permanent setup, so that it's basically going to tear down our time from
setting up.
Our full production time for this is probably about 4 hours.
But every single week we get together and put a lot of time into this. So we appreciate all the support we get.
So it'll definitely cut that down to something where we can just walk in instead of having to have everything set up. It'll all be there. We can sit down, hit record, go. I can edit. We can upload. I think it'll at least cut our workflow time in half. So it'll be really nice, and it's a much better room, and it's a room that I own. So we'll be able to do our own sound treatment, hammer into walls, take walls out, put walls in, whatever we want to do with no consequences.
I mean, yeah, and if for some reason the manager of the property finds out and watches this video, which he should, if she finds out I got fish, we're going to have to leave anyways.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to have a place that you actually own, so we're golden.
Joey might have to sleep in the new DMP set.
What's up?
The other thing is, the area is big enough to where we'll actually start having multiple set locations. So there'll be, of course, the DMP
standard
podcast set, and we'll also set up a couple others so we can start doing some other videos, start exploring some new tech, maybe buying some weird tech products on Amazon and showing them to you, stuff like that. So we'll definitely be drastically expanding our productions.
I want to get like a remote control fish that just like swims around like a plastic.
All right, that's enough for you. Hit the notification bell to get a notification whenever we post a new video. Not like you need it anyways. We post our videos at noon on Sunday. Yeah.
That's literally about it. So yeah, be a part of that squad. You know you want to, whether you want to or not, you're going to. So definitely do that. We're on our way. We're over halfway to 100 subscribers to get an actual official YouTube channel for Death Knot Productions. Like I technically own all the domains and everything like that. We've actually paid for that. So any support is nice, mostly because a lot of time and effort and money goes into this. So yeah, we appreciate all the support we get from you guys and have heard from Ricardo so far. And we appreciate it. So definitely stay tuned, see what's going on the next few weeks if we ever actually get the website going, if we ever actually get into the new location.
Yep.
Or if Cody actually buys some more knots. We'll see.
1, 2, 3.
You stay classy, Spokane.
I need my glasses again.